Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Venerable Thero. Today, we are going to discuss Karaniya Sutra, and thereafter we are going to start our English lesson. Before I start the meaning of the Karaniya Sutra, I think we have to discuss the context, so the milieu, the background related to the Karaniya Sutra. I think all of you are aware about the context in which the Lord Buddha preached or taught the Karaniya Sutra. Once the Buddha was staying in Savatthi, a group of monks, they received their necessary advice and subjects of meditation from the Blessed One, the Lord Buddha, and went to the forest to spend the rain season, to spend the Vasan season. The three deities inhabiting this forest were really worried by the arrival of the Mahasangha. As they had, because then they had to descend, so they had to get down from their divine abodes, right? That they had built on aligning and positioning the trees. And at the beginning, these deities thought that the monks would leave soon. But however, they found that monks, they are not going to leave very soon. They thought that they would stay the Vasana period of 3 months. Then they intimidated those three deities, those gods, teased the monks, harassed the monks in various ways during the night sometimes, with the purpose of scaring them away, the purpose of driving them away. The gods prevented the monks from meditating by pretending different kinds of different forms of different visible forms of inhuman corpse. The monks found it very difficult to concentrate, and they were not able to proceed with their meditative subject. And they were weak, both mentally and physically. And their bodies were really pale and frightened. The monks discussed the issues that they confronted and that they had to face, and made a collective decision to see the Master, the Lord Buddha, and inform him of their problems and complications. I think better you mute the mic, Venerable Thero. Then the Buddha instructed those monks and taught them the Karaniya Sutra, Metta Sutra. And the Buddha advised them to return and recite the Metta Sutra for their protection. The three deities would tempt to protect you in the hope of merit without bothering you when you continuously recite this particular Metta Sutra. Following the instructions, the monks returned to the forest and recited the Metta Sutra, Karaniya Sutra, wishing and extending a greatest friendliness and noble qualities of loving kindness and compassion. Then the whole atmosphere was filled with their radiant thoughts of metta and loving kindness. The deities, the gods, so blessed and affected by this power of love. Hereafter, they didn't disturb. They allowed them to meditate in peace. And this particular discourse actually can be divided into two areas. The first part is, the first part gives us a detailed guidance of dealing with the standard of moral conducts that one should require to attain purity or peace of mind and harmony in the whole conduct. The second method is, or the second part is, practicing metta. Karaniya matta kusalena yantang santam padang abhisamit. Actually, when it comes to the meaning or the idea of that particular part of the stanza, you can say that the person or the individual who is skillful and talented and wishes to promote his spiritual benefit, or wishes to attain the utmost bliss of freedom, or wishes to penetrate the supreme bliss of emancipation, or wishes to gain the eternal peace, such one should fulfill and perform thus. He should be Sakku. Sakku means capable and proficient. Right? That means actually he should be artistic. He has to be very smart and good at the noble spiritual cause, as it is not that easy, right? Just to perform without being really smart in treading the path. There are initial worldly activities and religious rituals to be involved, we practice in this worthy course. And daily routine and basic requirements need to be attended by oneself. So actually, you have to be good at activities of both worldly life as well as spiritual life. That's what this particular word is really very important, because even though it is a single word, a total competency, capability is in all there. Sakko then ujuja. That means you should make a genuine or honest effort in the course of spirituality, right? Totally according to your conscience. And thereby you shouldn't change the decision made. shouldn't hesitate or vacillate. And you have to be really firm. And you have to be honest according to your own conscience. Because once you started, you cannot either change or reverse. And again, sujuj, right? Need to be fully honest. You should make a really genuine effort. And you have to be truthful to yourself. The started holy course of spirituality. And suvacho chas. You should be obviously and frankly obedient to Dhamma, highly prone to ethics and moral life. Suvacho chas. And mudu. So it means you have to be really gentle and with tender conducts. So another way we can say you have to be modest and should not be with conducts of tough and rough. And anatimani. Right? There you are supposed not to be conceited, not to be arrogant and not to be proud. Instead, need be really humble. And we are supposed to be actually moderate, modest, and need to do away the mindset of self-importance. And santussa koja, contented, santrupta vihakibhav, happy and light-minded, contented with what you get, and need to do away the unnecessary, need to do away the unsatisfactoriness, and need to be satisfied with what you get. You can't ask more and more. You can't request more and more. And then Subaroja. That means a particular person who is committed in this particular worthy course should be easily satisfied. Right? That means you are supposed not to lead a very sophisticated and complex type of life with a lot of stuffs and all. Having more goods means actually having more troubles. If you have a lot of kind of items, lot of goods, imagine that you have 2 vehicles. And then the difficulties, problems, issues may be double rather than having 1 vehicle. So your devotees must be able to easily support you for your journey of spirituality. And appagichoja, right? Unburdened with duties, with few tasks. You know that you shouldn't have a lot of social commitments. You shouldn't have a lot of family obligations if you are a layman. And if you have many more tasks, duties, or social obligations, social commitments and all, you may not have enough time to be involved in the spiritual kind of work, especially in culturing mind. And your mind would be heavy and also cloudy with unfulfilled obligations. So we should have sort of limited type of tasks and activities to be performed. And Salla Ukautti. We have to lead frugal lifestyles. It is simple kind of lifestyles. There you lead a very simple livelihood. Right? You are being very economical, not because of the inability to get things, but because of the understanding of the value of simplicity. Yeah, you know that you enjoy. They are actually you enjoy having fewer things rather than getting a big collection of very sophisticated and very complex type of stuffs. You know that 20% of world population consume 80% of resources in the world. 80% of people, or 80% of population of the world have only 20% of resources to consume. So therefore, we can see that a constant struggle of haves and havens in the world. And most of the time, people are deprived of even basic needs. A few individuals or groups of individuals exploit the poor, exploit the majority. They take the lion's share, it means, giving bonds to the poor. Right? The poor are given only a very little type of facilities and all. So we have to set an example by being simple and leading simple type of life with fewer necessities. Being Buddhist or spiritual masters, actually we have to make some kind of example. That's what we are supposed to do here. Salla Ukautti. And Santindriyo, serene faculties. We should possess a very controlled type of sense faculties. Right there, we have to be well disciplined with our sense faculties. We are being Buddhist, supposed to control enjoying or running after sensual pleasure. We should understand that we cannot quench or we cannot fully satisfy, right, the thirst of sense faculties. So it is advisable to control and mitigate thirst of the basic derives of senses, according to the advice by the Buddha. And Nipakocha, prudent, competent. Another way we can say that is actually presence of mind. Right here, you need to be competent. Right, you know that in education, competence means amalgamation of 4 elements: knowledge, skills, attitude, and morale. Right, when personality is developed in harmony with those 4 areas together, a competent person is the outcome in education. So likewise, actually, even in kind of spiritual exercise, we have to be competent. We have to be prudent. Nipakocha. And Appagapu. should not non-modest, non-courteous. Some people are not really courteous and they are self-centered, really rough and tough. So here we have to do away that kind of negative attributes in case we possess them. In society, we just say that that fellow is really a big-headed one, or egotistical one, who is really ghosty and doesn't care even spiritual masters. Right? The aim of the Buddha's teaching is to eradicate 10 hindrances. The first is the ego or selfness. Appagabbu is the heavy density of egoistic mindset. It is the biggest barrier to awaken wisdom. Right? Because more your ego, more you are away from vision, more you are away from wisdom or right view. Sometimes we can say samadhi. And Pulesu Analugid should not be emotionally attached to clients or affluent families. Right? Should not hanker after associations with families for gaining benefits here. Should not attach to affordable and affluent families for personal benefits. Right? You shouldn't be interested in maintaining the tireless relationships of affluent supporters. Maintaining such clans is a burden. So if we are going to maintain families, supporting families or clans or relatives, so it would be rather tedious. And Nachakuddang Samachare Kinchena Vinyupare. Should not perform even a very small act of wrong, despised by the wise. Intelligent people, despised by intelligent people. That means should not do or we shouldn't do even slightest things that wise would censure or condemn or denunciate or accuse. You are fully committed to maintain high ethical and moral life. That means Sila Patipada. We have to adhere to a very comprehensive type of Sila Patipada here, so that even wise people cannot accuse us. And thereafter we can understand the way one should extend loving kindness. Right? Loving kindness meditation is called metta meditation. It's an excellent way to cultivate our propensity or tendency for kindness. Right? There, you mentally spread goodwill by way of practicing the meditation of loving kindness. We spread goodwill, kindness, and warmth towards others by silently repeating a series of blissful thoughts. Metta means cultivation of benevolence, loving kindness, friendliness, amity, goodwill, and active interest in others. Metta is generally to wish for all beings to be happy. Right? Also, metta is extending boundless friendship towards known and unknown, right? All beings in the universe. It's a universal love. And karuna is a wish for all beings to be free from suffering. It's a voluntary willingness to help all in need, or who or which are in trouble, in distress. Here actually, metta, loving kind. Yeah, you know that if you have a good friend, you take care of that person because your friend is very supportive to you. So you are going to be very supportive to your friend as well. So that is actually kind of a deal, because you support your friend because he supports you. But in loving kindness, umetta, there we have to expand our friendliness, right? We have to extend our loving kindness towards both known and unknown. And Supinova Kemino Huntu. May all be well and secure. May all beings be glad and safe. May none be unsecure or frightened or scared. Here you open your heart and cultivate a friendly attitude towards others. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukitatta. May all beings be happy. May all beings be at ease. May all creatures be blissful. May all beings live happily. So actually, when translating these kind of Buddhist sayings, we cannot be restricted to a particular limited number of words or a small type of sentence, because those are very comprehensive and with wider meanings. Ekechi pana bhutatti tasava tavarava anavasesa. Whatever beings may be, whatever beings may they be, no matter whether they are frail or firm, feeble or strong, even seekers who attain the holiness, spiritually developed and enlightened ones, as well as spiritual practitioners, omitting none, right? Accepting none, excluding none. We extend that great humanity towards all. Digava eva digavaye mahantava majjimarasa kanuka tula. Digavaye mahantava, long or stout or medium size. Short, small, large. That means all type of beings are included here. Nothing excluded. Including even microscopic beings. Anuka, Shudra, Ditta Vaeva Ditta. Another area covered by that. Those seen or unseen. Visible or invisible. Actually, there are a lot of beings invisible. Right? We can see only very limited kind of beings. Yecha dure vasanti aviduri. Those dwelling far or dwelling near. Those living near or living far. Bhutava sambhavesiva. Those who are born as well as those who are yet to be born. That means seeking birth. Existing or seeking existence. Gandhabha avastha avarane velividiya. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukitatta. May all beings have happy minds. May all creatures be of blissful hearted. May all beings be with pleasing and happy. Naparo parang nikubbet. One not deceives or decree or belittle another. Not to do any type of harm, any sort of harm or bad, even by deceiving. treat everyone like close relatives. May they not wish each other harm. None may mislead or misguide another at any cost, at any level. Nati manyeda kattachinam kanti. None may despise. Nobody may look down upon none. Nobody may scorn or contempt another, disrespects another. Right? We cannot contempt or disrespect anyone, anywhere, at any level. Vyarosana patika sanya. In anger or ill will, let him not wish another ill or harm, not to do any impairment, damage or harm in word or deed. Let none wish others harm in resentment or in hate. Act beyond hatred or envy. That means we have no right to get involved in any sort of resentment with evil mind, with ill mind. Nanya manyasa dukkha micchaya. Each other or none may suffer in any way. May none fall into danger. May nobody fall into danger. May no one cause, none may cause suffering to another. Mata yata niyam puttang ayusa eka putta manurakke evampi sabba bhutesu manasambhave aparimana. Just as a mother protects her only child, even sacrificing her life, right? We have to cultivate boundless loving kindness like that towards all beings without any sort of discrimination. Mettancha sabba lokasming manasambhave aparimana. Uddang adoja tiriyancha asambhadang averang asapa. Let him radiate boundless love. Let them emanate great kindness, great humanity, spreading towards the entire universe, above, below, and across, unhindered, with ill or will, without enmity. May all be unhindered and without enmity. Tittan charang nisinnova sayanova yavatasya vigatavidya. Standing, walking, sitting, recline, even till getting sleep, as long as he is awake. Let him develop this, that whatever the posture that one can be, let him develop this mindfulness with utmost determination. Right? Whatever the posture it may be that you are in, you have to extend these type of loving kindness, great human qualities, and accordingly develop mindfulness with utmost determination. Great sacrifice. You must determine to extend the mind of loving kindness. Brahmametang viharang idamahu. This is the way. This they say is noble living here. This they say is noble living here. It is the first of the four sublime states. Satara Brahma Vihara. If we live up to these type of activities proposed in this Metta Sutra, thereby we are adhering and living in accordance with Satara Brahma Vihara, which are we simply call the four sublime states, the highest conduct, the highest behavior, one can practice being a human. Dittincha anupagamma silava. Without getting into wrong vision or view, one has to strengthen the moral life. That means ethically, we have to be very conducive, as well as we have to strengthen the vision. That means correct understanding. The faith must be in accordance with proper understanding. Dittincha anupagamma silava. Without getting into wrong vision. And if you observe Sil with right understanding and right view, your faith is pure and based on wisdom. So we have to practice Sila, having strengthened the vision of Dhamma. Mere faith is not accepted here. And Dasanena Sampan, with the knowledge of knowing of the way towards freedom. That means we have to be equipped with the correct vision. So we have to maintain sort of visionary righteous way. You will be with wisdom of stream winning, Sotapan, turns towards eradicating three basic fetters, Samyojana Tunak Natikari. The sense of ego or selfness, Sakkaditi, perplexity or skeptical doubt, Vichikicha, and never get involved in wrong and unuseful practices for the sake of emancipation or freedom. Silabbata Parama. You don't get involved in a wrong type of rituals. Here we can actually, we should understand the state of stream winning, Sotapanna. Actually, you know that Sotapanna is the 8 noble disciples. Arya Pudgala. That noble character will only have 7 births at the most. He or she is no more subject to rebirth in lower worlds or lower realms of existence. And he is firmly established in the path. He does put an end to suffering. He is destined to penetrate full enlightenment. After having born maximum in 7 lives. The characterized qualities of a stream winner are 4. He possesses unshakable faith towards the triple J, which means the enlightened one, the blessed one, the Buddha, the doctrine, Dhamma, the order, Sangha. And he is perfect in morality or high quality human behavior or conducts. We call them Sotapatti Anga. Kamesu Vinaya Geda, discarding thirst for sensual pleasure. Being disciplined in sense faculties. Nehijati Gabba Seyang Punarediti. Never again he returns to convince, never again he returns to conceive in a womb. Hence that total existence in the upper realms of being. Prefixes and suffixes. Even in Sinhala, we have Nipata upasarga tadita paranini udusangvi avanupari adhyapipati suvati apa. Likewise, even in Sinhala we have these kind of things, prefixes and suffixes. So you know that the particle of words which are used in front of different words to make another word to get another different meaning. Those word particles are called prefixes. And particles of words which are connected at the end of a sentence to make another meaning or another word or another type of idea. Those are called suffixes. Now you can see that forget is a simple word that we have taken to discuss this. Okay. Yes, if this English lesson is not important because we started this particular lesson as some monks suggested that they need to improve their English as well. So if you are not interested, it's okay that you can leave. Right? I forget things all the time. A lot of things that happen in a day are forgettable. Now you can see that able, right? That is a suffix. So forget is the verb. By having connected that particular suffix at the end, you turn that verb into an adjective. A lot of things that happen in a day are forgettable. Now you can see that when once able is added at the end, right, that verb turns into an adjective. That means the word changes its own class. And again, we get another meaning. What is the most unforgettable experience that you have ever had in your life? So I think now you can see your translation. You can compare your translation. Some of you had translated many of the sentences correctly, but actually you know that there were a few things to be made clear, right? While discussing, I think you can understand or you can get certain idea where you need be corrected. And you are so forgetful. Now you can see that mean a verb can be developed into different kinds of a word can be changed into different kinds of words by using these prefixes and suffixes. The other thing, you know, that when improving the language, this particular knowledge is really important. You know that if you know 1,000 words, you can at least increase that 1,000 words into at least 3,000 by properly understanding this particular lesson. Sometimes you know that when referring material, when you know that when going through newspapers or magazines or whatever, sometimes you find difficult words and you look them up in a dictionary. And sometimes you would say that you don't find them the meaning even in the dictionary, right? It is because you have no idea to get the original word, removing prefixes and suffixes. So if you can get the original verb, removing those verb particles used as prefixes and suffixes, right, that particular original base verb is found in a dictionary. And sometimes when talking or when making ideas, we might think that we don't know that particular word. But anyway, we can develop certain verbs. If you know short, you can make a verb out of that, having used a particular suffix at the end. Shorten. Short is the adjective, shorten is the verb. Now I'm going to shorten the lesson. and white, whiten. Likewise, we can make words. We can make a lot of new words. Right. And now you can correct we are competent enough to understand any English discussion. So we should do activities that we have allocating this in this discussion time, right? We educate children to be good citizens. Now you can say educate. We conduct educative programs. We conduct educative programs. Right? A program where you get a lot of education. They are educated people. There are a lot of uneducated youth in the area. Everyone is entitled for free education according to the current constitution of the country. Every child is educable. So when translating this particular idea, right, many of you, I think some of you were mistaken when translating this particular idea into English. Every child is educable. Now you can see that educate, educative, educated, uneducated, education, educable. So different kinds of words are developed with the base of educate, that particular verb. And do you travel ticketless? So now you can see that ticket nettu another. So some so I noticed particular translation. Do you travel by bus without buying tickets? Likewise, long sentences were there. Actually, without going for that kind of long, juicy sentences, we can make the idea very precise and clear by using these type of prefixes and suffixes. Do you travel ticketless? And you know that. Do you know the hatless one? There are two people. One is wearing a hat, the other one is not. I just want to know whether you know the hatless one. So I would ask you, do you know the hatless one? Now you can see your translation, you can compare your translation. Why do you attend the class penless and bookless? I was speechless. And one suggestion is here that, we are competent enough to understand any English discussion. So we should do activities that we have allocating this English discussion time. That means, is it the idea of the all in all here? Right, I can put it so that you can see the text here. All right. Now this is the particular text that I got right now by one of the participants. Well, we are competent enough to understand any English discussion, so we should do activities that we have allocating this English discussion time. That means the suggestion here is not to continue this particular English part, because we started this. Some of you suggested that you need to improve some English as well. So any suggestion from the other parties?
Yes, I think that this party good for us. Therefore, if you can continue at least about 10-15 minutes in this lesson, that's good, I think.
Right, okay. A little time, right. And zero affixation, right? Can't drink it. Can't drink it. Then it is a verb. I can't drink. Can I have a drink? Yeah, it's a noun. Right? For forming the noun, we use neither suffix nor prefix here. The same word is used to be the verb as well as the noun. So those kind of words are identified to be zero affixation. The Nibbana is Appanihita. cannot be achieved by wish. Some Buddhists wish to attain Nibbana. Right? Then wish is a verb. The second one, I have no high and lofty wishes. Then wishes, then wish, that particular word is used in the sense of a meaning, noun. And she didn't complain of any inconvenience. You have made an improper decision about, you have made an improper decision. Must be about me. I disagree about it. You have made an improper. Agree, disagree. I think this medicine is unsuitable for animals. People frequently express their feelings non-verbally. Somebody has left the door unlocked. Lock, unlock. See how untidy your table is. It is unethical. It is unethical to ask such questions. Don't be irresponsible. And if you are impatient, you cannot wait things to happen for you. Do the buttons of the shirt. Don't undo the buttons. And you have to repay with an interest. When do the schools reopen? I overslept and got off at the next hall. I think the shopkeeper has overcharged. Don't be thoughtful when making decisions. It is not understandable. Nibbana is inexpressible, aprakasitai, indefinable, arthakathane karanna beri eka, unsayable, vachana waliන් කියන්න බැරි එක. Nibbana is inexpressible, indefinable, and unsayable.